Ladies and gentlemen, here's the motherfucking tea.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to My Hero Academia. Academia Who Cares Reviews. I'm Scott Kaiserneco-Ferrix, and over there is a Grant.
It's me, Academia.
And over there is Alani.
Hello.
Is that coconut water?
Yes, it is. It's very good.
I like coconut water. I was gonna mock you, but actually no, it's good.
Shit's expensive, but it's good.
Coconuts
and refreshing.
have milk, not water.
Touche. And this stuff's like pink too, so it's like really weird. So it's like all
strawberry
oxidized and stuff.
coconut milk.
Yeah.
I wonder if that would taste good. I'm actually not sure.
Coconut goes well with a lot of different fruits, but regardless, we're here to talk about what is essentially the finale for now of My Villain Academia.
Yep.
Before we move on to, I guess, wrap up for the season.
Yep, wrap-up episode that looks like it's partly filler, so that's good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'll admit, I had theories about how this stuff was going to end, and the first like 5 or 6 minutes of this episode kind of cemented it for me. Like I figured out exactly what was going to happen by the end of it. By the time like his flashback was done.
Of course you did, because it already told you.
Well, no, but I mean I knew where their relationship with the elite, like the Liberation Front, was going to be by the end of it. I didn't know necessarily. Like, because there were a few different things my head was like going through. It's like, okay, he's going to beat them. Like, he's going to just like kill this dude and take them over and rule from the shadows. Because obviously he's not losing. Yeah. We saw that he's laughing at the end in the middle of the goddamn season. Or Gigantomachia was going to be like there and like just destroy everything. But, you know, through the battle, he was like, Shigaraki was going to gain the respect. But by the time the flashback ended, I knew it's like, no, he's about to get a mega power boost, and that power boost is going to shock everybody into, oh, this guy's the Dark Messiah.
We can't do it.
Yeah, he's the most liberated of us all. How could we possibly defy him?
Truly, the freest one in the room was the Joker all along.
Yep.
Oh, God, right? Yeah.
And finally, I was like, my big question earlier of who the fuck would go into melee with Shigaraki was finally put to the, you know, yeah, that's what happens when his powers are working the way they should, and you go in to punch him.
Yeah. So, Mr. Redestro, aka an okay villain, gets put down rather effectively by.
He gets absolutely bitched by the end. I love it.
Yeah, it sort of sucks. I'm not going to mention this much. They cut out some of the stuff that he had. Like, honestly, a lot of people's stuff got cut in this arc for no good reason. So I'm a little bit frustrated about that.
Yeah, we never got to see Spinner go more Gecko.
Well, that is unfortunately just what happened.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of stuff got cut. It's frustrating. But at least we got the really big moments in this arc. I'm glad. So. It is really weird, though. Shigaraki was supposed to lose them fingers.
Nah.
The thing is, I don't see that making a huge difference in general.
It most likely won't, but...
Yeah, because, like, okay, so he's got, like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fingers, or he has a full hand with 2 gimped fingers. Does it really matter?
Yeah. But,
especially if his power doesn't count on them.
Yeah, ultimately, it's just a little weird. That's all. But besides that, yeah, we get to see what happens when Shigaraki goes full Joker mode, and it's a really great moment. We also see like him destroy that last hand that was on his face. Basically, like, nope, I don't need this anymore. Fuck this.
But one conveniently survived, so he can keep his motif.
Yeah, he has to keep the look. We got to make sure he's got, you know, an image, a logo of some kind, and a big hand on his face. That works.
I mean, you can't get rid of all. You can't. Yeah, it's like you said. You can't get rid of everything. He's got. Yeah. You've got a fucking image to uphold. You got a brand.
Always. People know who I am by this.
Yeah, he's got the hand thing. You need you need to have the hands.
The hand brand.
Give the leader of the what was it, the Paranormal Society or what?
Yeah, the Paranormal Liberation Front or something like that. What'd they call it? Either way, they're rebranding.
Not crazy about that name.
Not particularly, but I do agree with what they said. It sounds less childish than the League of Villains. You know, something that actual people can get behind.
I'm wondering if actually, I'm actually kind of wondering if it sounds cooler in Japanese.
Probably.
Yeah, paranormal just sounds like a weird word for it. Like,
Yeah.
like that makes me think of ghosts.
Or
and stuff.
it makes me think of like aliens, actually. I don't know.
Okay.
It's a little bit weird.
I mean,
yeah.
if you think of it as an invasion, then maybe that works.
Would preternatural be better?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Because I think that's kind of like, you know, just beyond human, beyond
Okay.
natural is kind of what they're going for.
I feel like something that evokes more chaos or something would have made sense to me, kind of with how it sounds like they're doing it. But maybe that's not the flag he wants to.
It's not
plant.
the vibe they're going for. They want people to like. They still want people to follow them. So
Yeah.
But our leader's like an avatar of destruction. Like, I feel like that.
but
you know.
Redestro is still the face of it. So
That's
like
true.
you know he's just sitting there like he's the leader in the shadows,
It's-
which honestly is the better position to be in.
They did have me for a second when it cuts to present day or whatever, or weeks later, whatever it was, and Twice is like mourning at a picture of Toga, and I was like, oh, geez, did she like actually die in that conflict? That would be pretty crazy. And then she's just sitting there like, hey, I'm not dead. Stop doing that. It's really creepy.
Almost had me for a second, but then I remember that we saw her in previous scenes with like the League talking with people and Hawks, and I'm like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but there's okay.
I know it was like a real short gag, so it's like, okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
Also, like, I'm gonna go ahead and say, he made a copy of her.
True.
Although the copy of her was also injured, so I guess maybe that wouldn't work. But like, I don't know. There was a part of me that was like, it's weird that he would still be mourning her. Did she die in this? And he isn't sure if this is the real one.
No,
like,
it was-
that's just kind of where I'm at, because you know we can never really trust what Twice is up to.
Yeah, just Twice being Twice, and
Yeah, I think the entire thing is that he's actually mourning the death of the clone specifically.
Oh, okay. Well,
Maybe.
then, you know what? That would
That-
also be fine.
Yeah.
that does seem like something he would do. I also like that they bring up like, so he got better, but it also seemed to have made him worse because he's just having full blown conversations with him now as if he's like 6 people in a room.
Yeah, which I love. That there's something about that. Like he's kind of gone full, just multiple personality disorder, and it's pretty entertaining at this point. It's also, I love, like, it's really funny that they did the fucking comparison of like, man, if we were with the Hosaikai, we'd be eating sushi right now. Then fucking Shigaraki.
You guys have money, don't you?
I love
Yeah.
I love the childish way he phrases it too. Like, so you're the Detronet CEO, right? So that means you have a lot of money.
So you've got money. It's
That's
like
the
that,
thing the
that's the
league
one,
needs.
that's the one thing we need right now. We need financial backers. How would you like to be our platinum Kickstarter supporter?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, have you ever thought about supporting us on Patreon?
So yeah, now they have like unlimited backing, and I love that every scene beyond that with Redestro, like after he introduces him, like, this is our true leader, he is the Messiah. It's like walking by, oh man, that went great. Shut up, go away. Yes, sir.
Please and thank you.
And then fucking Trumpet is like, God damn it. God fucking damn it.
I didn't want to see my leader like this.
By the way, that scene that they flash back to where they're talking about the sushi, a scene that they cut. A whole scene that flashed out a bunch of characters.
Okay.
Oh, the him being like we could have sushi. Oh man.
Yep, that was a whole scene that got cut, and I again don't want to like. It's hard for me not to though, because like they actually managed to go ahead and
The
bring it up.
flashback was effective enough, and that it kind of just made me go like, oh okay, like
I thought it was a scene I literally forgot about.
No, it just never happened.
They needed to make room for that beach episode.
I know. I won't stop being mad about it. I won't stop. Being
Neither will I. I think it was a very stupid decision.
I also kind of won't get mad about the fact that, or won't stop getting mad about the fact that I'm gonna be really honest. The art direction and just the general direction just went downhill in the second half of the season. Like the first half of the season had amazing shots, these great like shots utilizing the environment, some fantastic animation. These last couple of episodes had a couple of standout moments, but by and large have seemed very boring to look at.
Yeah, I will say, like, thinking back to the early parts of the season, nothing quite struck me visually as much as that scene with fucking
It's really memorable scene.
Well, it's the character I'm having trouble with.
No, yeah,
Inganium, you know.
Yeah, Ida. Yeah,
there
the
we
one-
go.
yeah.
When he's like, you know, when he
the
finally
monkey.
goes whole horse and
Yeah.
just bam, like that shit was striking visually, like showing off his speed. And yeah, I kind of agree. Like some of the stuff like later on in the season, nothing really matched up to that.
Even though you had these moments that were supposed to be huge. I mean, absolutely huge, big, fantastic moments that are supposed to be like the culmination of Shigaraki's character up until this point, that like fully fleshes him out into the person that he's going to become. And I felt like the actual quality of the art and animation and direction and storyboarding is really boring. Like, he takes out an entire city, but I'll be honest to you, it doesn't feel like he takes out an entire city, because we only ever get like 1 or 2 shots of buildings going down, and the rest of it's these far out shots where you get very limited animation of just things crumbling. And it's like, wow, you could have done way more to kind of show that, oh my god, he's actually destroying a goddamn city.
Well, honestly, that part, I actually kind of liked that part. It might not have been as visually like, holy fuck, as it maybe could have been, but like, it felt like a nerfed Akira explosion. You know, like that big dome explosion in Akira. It kind of felt like that to me, like slightly watered down, which maybe it shouldn't have, but it struck that vibe with me, where you're seeing like the city just boom, becoming cratered and dust flying everywhere. You get these great reaction shots. I mean, the one that really sells it is Gigantomachia is just like,
Oh yeah. Gigantomachia just standing there like,
I honestly thought the big thing was going to be Gigantomachia was going to run in and like Shigaraki was just going to kill him like really easily, to be like, look, I brought this dude to fuck you up and I don't even need him anymore. Like, I thought that was going to be the like, oh boy, he's serious. But I also really like Machia just seeing him and be like, oh, yep, there's my boss. I recognize him now.
nah, Machia is going to make for a really great arc boss at some point. So I don't think they're going to kill him off like that.
That's fair.
yeah, I think they want to save Gigantomachia for like when a big fight happens, because for, you know,
he seems like the guy that you'd throw against Bakugo.
ooh, okay.
That's the way I see it. Because Dabi obviously is going to be, you know, like
We got another fire user in our
Yeah.
hands.
fire
Someone
and ice user.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna have to fight both Dabi and Ice
a
dude.
team?
Ah,
Ooh, I like
and he's
that.
gonna
I
have
like
to like
that.
use both. Okay, yeah, I'm feeling this.
And
now.
he has to keep switching sides because he's got to use the opposite power on him. And,
Actually, watching Shoto do that would be really cool.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah.
thinking Shoto is gonna.
That would be such a sick fight where he's got to fight a fire guy and an ice guy. I would actually, like, man, that sounds fucking badass. But yeah, I don't know. There was a bunch of stuff in this arc that, again, I really like. Reading the manga, good. I'm sorry. I usually, like, when we were talking about the first half of this arc, I didn't have to keep referring to this because I didn't feel like stuff wasn't being told well. But I can't help but, like, look at this and be like, I don't feel like it was as effective in general because they cut so much and rushed through a lot of it. And again, the art direction was just not as good as it needed to be for the worst of all reasons, a movie that none of us care about. I don't think any of us, do either of you actually care about the movie that's coming out?
Not particularly.
I hope it looks good. That's kind of the only thing I come to these anime movies for.
Yeah.
And, you know, if they're going to take away from the show, might as well go in and hope for like a really cool looking fight scene in a movie.
Which we definitely got in movie 2.
I was going to say, movie 2's last fight, I still think is really cool. So,
Yeah.
like,
honestly, worth the price of admission all on its own.
Yeah.
Especially considering...
because honestly, I think the rest of that movie isn't that good.
Actually, to be completely honest, I actually liked the rest of the movie. I just thought it was, like, had a lot of underwhelming parts. I liked the themes. I liked the way it utilized the characters most of all. Whereas I thought the first movie did not utilize its characters well enough. The second movie actually kind of felt like everyone was being written properly and utilized properly.
Yeah.
And
That's
there were some really good fights. The problem I had, or I was going to say, the thing that I really loved was, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen the movie, but how Bakugo and Deku work together was actually really fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That was I cannot begin to.
The second movie is easily the best My Hero movie so far out of the two.
Yeah.
The third one is also the highest earning, so we'll have to see if it's any good.
To go back to what you were saying about, when I saw this in the manga, it was like so epic, and some of that does have to come down to the fact that this is your first time experiencing the information you're receiving too.
Well, yes, except I've watched plenty of parts in the anime where I'm like, this is justice.
They did it justice.
Yeah, I've watched.
Okay.
I've read. By the time I had read up to where the manga was in comparison to the anime, it was before the end of like season 2. I had already like caught up on the manga. So for seasons 3, 4, and 5, I've gone in with full knowledge of how the anime works and have not been nearly as disappointed as I was with the gentle stuff I thought was perfectly handled. The school stuff I thought was perfectly handled. All of season 3 I thought was perfectly handled. But every time they have to work on a movie, it suffers. And we've seen it in 2 of the biggest moments in the manga so far. And it's insane that this keeps happening.
Yeah.
I do have to admit that like kind of two points in this plot so far of the entire series have felt underwhelming compared to what I feel like the show and story expected me to feel. Because I liked all the Shigaraki stuff, and I've always liked the League, and when it comes to fiction, I'm always a sucker for bad guy stories. I want to know what the villain's up to way more than the hero 90% of the time. And I feel like this arc was still cool, but it's like that was okay. And I feel like they really wanted me to go away from like, aren't these guys awesome? Don't you love this squad? Wasn't that a freaking cool fight? And I'm just going like, okay, yeah, I see what you did, and I'm excited to see where they go. But the moment itself was not like this jaw-dropping thing that I feel like they think it is.
And as somebody who really liked this arc in the manga and actually came away from it going like, this was fucking awesome. Yeah, that's kind of why I'm.
So I can understand why this probably seemed disappointing.
Yeah, because the story there, 75 to 80% of the story is there, but the 20% they cut was vital stuff for like motivation for the characters and for you to get invested in them, and the stuff that was there is just kind of told adequately.
But it still was like cool seeing Shigaraki just like fully awaken to his shit and like actually giving a good reason behind a lot of his motivation. Just like, I mean, first of all, All For One, clearly a sociopath, but but when he was actually acting like a father to him, it like was sort of like creepily sweet in some ways.
It's weirdly sweet.
Yeah. Just like, I'm going to cover you with the hands of your dead relatives. So you remember like blah, blah, blah. And like, always remember that feeling you have. Oh, those 2 guys you just killed. Here are their hands for you. I want you to remember that.
Don't forget
a little
this
far
moment.
on that one. Does he just have like a hall of hands that like from people that he's murdered? Or?
I mean, it's one of those things where if you view good and evil as just 2 sides of something instead of putting your own moral investment into it, it is kind of this weird. All For One sees in him is like potential. He sees him as just like, you are like the perfect product of what I am looking for. Yeah. But also it is who you are. And I need you to become the person that I know you are inside, kind of thing.
I actually really liked that dynamic when he said the words, look, you have this immense power within you, and you can do whatever the fuck you want. Whether you want to destroy something or turn it into a toy, that is up to you. It's your life to live. You decide what you want to do, but you fucking do it. That's oddly motivational. That's in a real horrific sort of way. But
yeah, you have a lot of these moments where.
Oh
no! Stop! God damn it! I'm trying to. Sorry, something started to play, and everyone probably heard that. Gosh darn it! Anyway, point being, it is one of these moments where he truly does feel like he seriously loves Shigaraki and cares about him.
He gave him his last name.
Yeah, he's like, well, what about Shigaraki?
Son,
that's my last name. Yeah.
So that's that info drop, which is kind of neat. We now know the name Shigaraki has, it's the Uchiha, basically, like
the evil clan.
Exactly. Yeah. He is the Madara, so.
But yeah, so it's pretty it's interesting to see his background after so many chapters and episodes without realizing what the fuck is up with this guy. But honestly, the show has done so much to not focus on the League of Villains that you're never like, you never truly feel like you're not getting enough information with them. So I think it comes at the right time. I never felt like we weren't informed enough, if that means anything.
I also like that this is sort of a Batman Joker situation where it's like, did the hero facilitate the villain kind of thing? Because like Shigaraki, as we know, is the granddaughter of All Might's previous person, and her son hated hero and good people stuff because he felt abandoned by her when she was gone. So because of her heroic actions, that trickled down into abuse of Shigaraki, which then rolled him into becoming the ultimate villain for the ultimate bad guy that his grandmother was fighting. So it's just like this like weird, like, it's kind of like, obviously not your fault, but the direct result of your actions is the existence of this ultimate evil. So like, it's kind of this like fun, how good are these heroes for society if this is what they're making? Like,
it actually made me think more about the actual lyrics of the opening theme. The carousel goes up and down. It also goes around. It's like we're in this little circle of rhyming little tropes that are, every side has its reflection, and every like good action leads to some negative actions. And it's not a bop, but it's not the worst song for the season.
Thematically, it fits, I suppose.
Yeah, it could be could have been a worse song.
There have been worse songs.
It definitely could be. It definitely has been.
Yeah, I still do not like the first opening of this season. But that being said, gosh, is there anything else we want to talk about in this particular episode?
I guess the one thing that I could think of is when we get back to Deku's narration, when we're going back to present day, the way they spin what happened at the place, like, oh, the heroes were all distracted somewhere. They're being distracted by someone else. So heroes couldn't be there to save the day. So the townsfolk had to step up to try to save people. And, they banded together to try to fight off the evil, and they managed to stop it. But there was a lot of destruction. And because of that, there are people out there that are like, well, of course they shouldn't have done that. They're just normal people. That's why we need heroes, blah, blah, blah.
Licenses.
Exactly. So like, you're getting all this weird political discourse in here, and look how they're trying to spin the actions of all these people.
All I'm saying is you just need a good guy with a quirk. Just a good guy with a quirk to solve the problem.
Well, unfortunately, that's the thing. There were a lot of good guys with quirks there trying to stop the problem, but it just made the problem worse.
Social commentary.
I mean, who can imagine someone taking a tragedy or event and turning it political? Who's ever done that? That's impossible. Can't be done.
My quirk is a God-given right. Of course, they can actually say that and mean it.
Like, yeah, I was literally born with this thing. Come on. Just because I have the power to set off nuclear bombs with my fingernails. Come on.
Yeah, I am. So somebody in the chat's just waiting for the good guy with a nuke quirk. And at some point you're going to get a dude who's just like, I'm a nuclear bomb. I can do it once. I'll just explode and I'll take everything around me within a 5
It's my quirk.
Radius.
Don't ask me how I know.
I think back to X-Men a lot, because mutants can be born with a bunch of different shit that can happen to them. And one of the most unfortunate ones was this guy that just his power awakened one day, and it's literally this radiation power that just kills everybody around him. And Wolverine has to find him because he's the only guy that can survive in the radius and kill him so that he can't hurt anybody else, only because he exists.
Yep.
Yeah.
Looking back on that one actually bothers me, because I kind of sort of realized, wait a second, no, you didn't need to kill him. You could have just literally made an island for him where he could have lived out the rest of his days.
No, because his power kept expanding. The reason he went in is because at that point his power was hitting everything within a 20-mile radius.
Oh, it
kept growing.
Oh, well, yep.
I don't know a ton of comic lore, but I have to imagine at some point there was someone who was like, I can turn off mutagens. Why did we get that technology in there?
There is a mutant with that power, but I'm pretty sure that mutant's been killed in every iteration that mutant's existed.
Also,
okay, fair enough.
Also, getting them in close might be entirely impossible.
That's why That's why it had to be Logan.
Hazmat suit.
Yeah, that's why he had to send in Logan because, yeah. Don't kill him, keep him in solitary confinement for the rest of his life. That's not what I said. I said put him on an island where he can be happy, okay?
Let's confine him to an island
happy,
solitarily.
And then he'll just eventually starve to death. It'll be okay.
You can send him food.
How? It would all become irradiated.
He could have Discord. He could talk to people. We wouldn't punish him.
Logan ends up finding him in like a cave in the desert after he destroyed all the land around him or something.
Oh yeah, and someone's bringing up the X-Men whose power was to explode once.
Yup.
I remember
Just
that
once.
Yeah.
I figured out what my power was a little too late.
Didn't that start X-Men versus the Avengers, like Civil War 2 or something?
Did that?
I can't remember. Something happened.
I feel like that was actually a side story for another mutant. Or maybe that was the
either way. We're way off base here.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, My Hero Academia.
So is the next episode the last episode of the season? Is this?
Yeah,
is this
we're
the finale?
either getting a wrap up episode or it'll be a wrap up episode with movie tie-in.
Probably
Okay.
Movie tie-in.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be movie tie-in. Which, thinking about it now, it's probably what it's going to be because like
There's a part of. Go ahead.
the brief preview just sort of seems like we're still training, we're still like prepping for something, and so part of me was like, I would be totally cool if the last episode is like, you know, somehow word of the Paranormal Liberation Society gets out, and it's like, oh, we now realize our threat that we once thought about as already a problem that we really needed to focus on is way bigger because this knowledge is kind of, you know, Hawks is still kind of giving this info, leaking it out, so there's a chance that everyone knows what's going on. I could see like just a last like kind of inciting incident episode of like, oh, we need to get in gear because we're going to war, and then just boom, credits or something, like, you know, stuff like that's always fun.
Because next season, I mean, they've been teasing this entire time. It's like, oh, there's gonna be a war. We're going to war next season, and it'll be crazy, and some of the characters you know will probably die, and it'll be real sad, and it's gonna be nuts.
But in the meantime, let's go do this other thing.
Yeah. But real quick, we got
now back to school.
Deku's the most wanted man on Earth or something.
Oh man, and the prom's tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
We haven't had the My Hero prom yet.
We still need to get the academia in here. Shigaraki, freaking man, I can't think of anyone's name now. Deku didn't study for the science test. Oh no!
And we haven't had that moment where like Deku's trying to like work up the nerve to ask Ochako to dance. And it's like, oh no.
This is almost as scary as that time I had to save 100 people on that bridge Shigaraki destroyed today.
So it's like trying to work up the nerve to like ask her to dance. Meanwhile, there's like a huge war happening outside. It's like, oh man, like so much going on right now.
This is way harder than any super villain. That's the American version of this show.
I hate the fact that is absolutely true.
Because it would be all about how, like, man, high school's so much tougher than being a superhero. I'm really glad that's not the show's angle.
Yeah, me too. Because I feel like they very easily could have, like, I feel like that is exactly what an American show would have done too.
Yes, that is like My Hero on the CW. That is exactly what that would be.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of X-Men Evolution. Although
coming to a Netflix adaptation near you.
Although
X-Men Evolution, I still really like X-Men Evolution. It's got its quirks and it's like kind of corny.
No, that's My Hero.
It has quirks.
It's got its mutagens and it's kind of corny, but
I honestly, as somebody who grew up with X-Men Evolution, I really, really wish that he could have gotten more of a chance. I think a lot of people didn't like it because it took the high school angle and took a lot of the characters from the 90s show and made them like kind of younger and more inexperienced. And I think that's
tried to introduce some characters that like just didn't quite work.
Yeah. Also, like you had the movies going on at the same time, and it's like, don't give us the movies with all these characters as, you know, adults or like in these big action situations, big adventure situations, and then try to give us this down-to-earth school shit. Then they try to make Wolverine in the X-Men where they made Wolverine the main character, and that sucked too.
Because anytime you put Wolverine in a cartoon, all he's doing, unless he's fighting androids, is cutting up guns.
Yep, because He's got these monstrous claws, and he can't use them. Also,
thank goodness there's an endless flood of sentinels for us to fight.
Also, he's not even able to like fully utilize his his healing ability because
nothing does that kind of damage.
He can't be injured that bad.
Yeah, basically it just kind of makes him so he can get hit really hard but get back up. That's the fullest extent they can ever show with it.
I mean, they should be able to do stuff like I feel like they do with sword fights in kid cartoons, where it's just like there's a swipe and the person goes down. There's no blood. We never see anyone get cut. As far as we know, they got slapped with the doll side of the sword. But they're just down.
Look out, Luffy. He's got poison suction cups.
Oh my god. Anyway, so I think that means we don't have much to talk about more with My Hero Academia.
Not particularly.
There was like a shot where Shigaraki's hair outline went away and it looked like he was glowing, and I thought that was going to be a new look. I was like, is he Super Saiyan now? Like when he does his stuff, his hair glows? But I guess not, because
I really do like his new look. Like, yeah, he's got a new look about him where he's like, I don't know.
We do get to see that. Yeah, and we get to see, well, he's more himself.
Yeah.
We also got to see that his own quirk like really does kind of fuck up his own body a little bit if he uses it too much, like over, like, plus ultras it, as he said it.
Yeah, I did like that he's like stressed 150%. He's like, that's like plus ultra. I hate it.
Shut up, slaps it away. If you're gonna give me something, I'm just gonna make it go away. All I have to do is make it disappear before it can hurt me.
Yeah, it's like, go ahead, put a bunch of armor around you. What do you think my quirk is, dipshit?
Literally destroyed his legs because he touched the corruption.
I do I'm glad the dialogue was there. Because
I wouldn't have caught it.
Yeah, trust me, in the manga, you see the aftermath. It's very obvious what had just happened. In the anime, they're like, okay, that's a little bit too much for TV.
I don't think that would have been any worse than the liquefied dog.
Maybe not.
I feel like you're right, but there's this thing that the Japanese censors have about
the actual dismemberment.
Yeah, actual dismemberment, which is why.
How did Dragon Ball get away with it? Was it because Piccolo was an alien?
Oh yeah, literally the only reason.
Okay.
In fact, it
also lost his hand that time.
Also, late '80s.
Okay.
Yeah, the censorship has changed a bit in Japan. Like stuff that you used to be able to get away with, you can't anymore. It's
like
why
the weird white goo that shoots out of Kenshiro's victims.
But then Kishimoto was like, "No, they are absolutely losing their arms, and you cannot stop me." Then again, I feel like Naruto gets away with way more than My Hero does. It's just.
I would have agreed until that Shigaraki flashback episode.
That was that's. Yeah,
I still think that's a weird high point of violence that the show. I didn't think it would go, and I honestly would still be surprised if they did it again at any point.
We never saw Gaara liquefy a dog or any wildlife, so
true. Although that moment, there are some moments where his deaths are amazingly brutal. Like the one
only through implied violence though, because almost all of it happens within like some sand cocoon. You just see blood squirt out and stuff, but.
That's still like
it is implied violence wise. Oh shit! Like you're in this ball of sand and he just starts grinding you like a blender.
Yeah,
not great.
But yeah. Anything else?
Honestly, I liked this episode, but that's all I got on this. I'm ready for the wrap up episode, and then I guess we can look forward to Demon Slayer starting to come out in a couple weeks.
Oh, is that coming back? Cool.
Yeah, that's apparently coming back in October. Which is I haven't seen like a lot of hype for it, but I'm sure there will be. It's one of the biggest anime in Japan right now. So
I know the manga's done. Are we getting like one more season or like another season in a movie?
Oh no, we're probably gonna get like 4 seasons.
Oh, okay, so the manga just chugged then. Wow.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't know. If anyone in the chat knows, I don't know how many manga chapters were in that first season. I can't remember how many chapters were in the manga total. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be one more season. I think it's going to be at least 3 seasons. I know that. It's going to at least be 3.
And after their last movie, their canon movie was like the #1 grossing movie in Japan of all time.
Yes.
I hope more anime embraces that, because I appreciate it when they'll just take some of those bigger moments and really put the fucking budget in,
Okay. The day happens. They're coming back with Demon Slayer, and they're retelling the movie story in the anime.
God,
How do
no.
you feel?
I feel as betrayed as I did with Dragon Ball Super, and I just don't watch it.
Yeah, we're not.
I was talking to Tyler the other day, and I was like, I like that Demon Slayer movie. He's like, do you think they're gonna retell it in the anime? I'm like the thought never even crossed my mind, and I was like, oh my god, if they do,
they aren't.
Okay, is that
good.
official knowledge? Do we know for sure?
We've already seen a trailer for the new season, and it doesn't include any of that material. The worst I think we could expect to happen is they might actually just take the movie as scenes and make them into episodes,
like flashbacks or something.
Yeah, they probably have to give it as like flashbacks because like I remember like one of the difficult parts about trying to watch Food Wars was there was a huge chunk between seasons 2 and 3 that happened in like an OVA that you can't find on Crunchyroll, where they introduce like this big batch of characters that are going to matter for like the rest of the show that matters.
Great.
That fucking killed me. I thought I'm
like, who the fuck are these guys? What's happening? It's like, oh yeah, we met them and they did this and this, and oh man, Soma was having some issues that day. Is okay.
Yeah, I was really frustrated about that because I remember I was like, did I miss something? Did I miss episodes? And then I had to look at the fact that there were OVAs, and I'm like, I can't watch these. So parts of the story are just gone forever.
That's the biggest problem with Crunchyroll is like they only license the show, but they can't get the other shit, which I think is going to be a problem with Demon Slayer as well, just because you'll have to watch the movie elsewhere if they don't recap it in the which they most definitely will in the show. Like they'll give you flashbacks, I'm certain.
I will say, oh man, that last season of Food Wars, just an acknowledgement.
I ignored
it's bad.
it.
It's very bad.
I started watching it, and it had none of the stuff I liked about the other seasons of Food Wars.
Yep.
It didn't have any of the cool food shit because it was all like weird shit where they're cooking with gunpowder, and they didn't have any of like the ridiculous fan service. I'm like, you know what? I'm into smut. I can deal with this.
And not to mention, you also have a dude who, when he takes your knife, he takes your cooking ability.
Yeah,
that's a thing.
It went hard on the anime bullshit, and I was like, nope, I'm done. I gave it like 4 episodes, and it just nothing.
Yeah, everyone says that was the mangaka saying, "Hey, I want to stop this.
I don't want to do this anymore.
I'm ready for this to end. Check it out."
Apparently, there's a side story with Soma's mom that's really good though. But yeah. Anything else? There was one other thing I was going to say, but I forget what it was. I will say we don't have to worry so much. Like, I think for the most part, anybody who wants to watch the Demon Slayer movie probably.
I mean, it's available on like Amazon. Like, it's available on Amazon. Available like anywhere you can buy a streamed movie. It's just not available on any of these streaming services.
Yeah. It's just
Is it not on Funimation anymore?
I don't know if the movie was
it
on
ever?
Funimation. Yeah, was the movie on there?
That's where I watched it. I'm pretty sure.
For free?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, I mean, with my Funimation subscription.
Well,
but yeah.
Funimation subscription, yeah. Okay. Huh. Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, apparently you can just watch it on Funimation, so it's not a problem.
Yeah, and I think the whole series is there. So, like, you can watch the whole thing.
And I'll bet you dicks for dollars, it's already, like, before the anime shows on TV in Japan, they'll just air the movie. They've aired other anime movies on TV. Hell, there's a version of Resurrection F that was never fully released with like added stuff.
TV cut? Oh.
Yeah. Like they added a bunch of shit. It was really just a bunch of recap stuff from the Frieza saga, but also animated insanely well. Like, it's kind of crazy. There's some stuff in there that's just gorgeous, which is really funny considering Resurrection F by and large is not a very pretty looking movie. So
you're either really devaluing dicks or you're getting some really pathetic dicks for those dollars.
But
they're dollar store dicks, man. What do you expect?
Yeah. So
little Vienna sausages in a can.
In other anime news, I've been watching One Piece. They just met Smoker and escaped Logtown. I'm very early on.
Oh wow, you are early on.
Logtown had one of my favorite Funimation dub bits. When
I've been watching the dub. What part?
Just Luffy's "I'm dead." Like just sitting
smiling
with his head in the galley.
Guys, I'm dead. And then lightning strikes him, and it's crazy. And I'm already really liking it. It's good.
Colleen's line read there was great. I love that.
Yeah, One Piece. I'm really looking forward to you getting further and further into One Piece. It's
I'm trying to not rush it so I actually absorb it because there's so much. And I feel like if I just marathon it or read synopses, I will not actually get the One Piece experience.
You'll probably also start to hate it if you do that too.
Probably.
Because it never ends.
Are you using the filler list?
I haven't been, but also at no point yet has the show seemed bad. So I'm not like it's once I feel like they're just repeating stuff is when I'm going to start looking into that.
Anytime a pirate named Foxy shows up, go ahead and skip.
Actually, that's not true. Foxy's not filler. And
is he not?
No.
He never does anything of substance.
There was one episode I thought was filler, and then it led into stuff. So I was like, well, okay.
Yeah.
Because the Choppers, or the not Chopper, what's his name? Buggy, him not having his limbs and having a little adventure and meeting Alvida. I was like, oh, this is like a fun side thing.
That's actually
wasn't
important.
real. And then it's like, oh, no, they're on their way to the same place. This mattered.
Yeah. There is, as somebody said, the filler isn't bad. Okay. Okay.
From another friend who's watched One Piece, all they basically said is like a lot of the filler is just like they will, at least from what I've heard, is like they will do a lot of the Naruto thing of where it's just like, here's a flashback of stuff you already know, and we're gonna wait and hang on it for a long time.
Like sometimes they can do like a filler that's just kind of like a neat little mini adventure, but a lot of the times it's very substanceless, and I lost patience for it a long time ago.
Yeah, in fact, I would actually say there is only one arc in the one filler arc that is actually worth watching, and I think it's called like G1 or something. It's basically like it's right after the Skypiea arc, and it's actually pretty all right. Otherwise,
Skypiea is great.
Yeah, and Skypiea is also. I feel like Skypiea is one that people slept on for a long time. It has
one of my favorite reveals. Like, it's great. Like just once two characters meet and they realize something, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
One Piece is an anime that is literally all about the slow burn, the big payoffs about early shit that happens. Like there is stuff that like is still getting paid off that happened in the first couple of arcs. Like it's like insane.
Oda, I mean, he's got a great style. I love his style. He knows how to draw curves. As alien as they look in the world, they are very aesthetically pleasing. But he is a master at long form storytelling in a lot of ways, where like in terms of world building.
No, yeah, that's something that like that's kind of what made me want to check it out. Not to plug someone else's video, but Mother's Basement made a thing of like why you should watch One Piece, and it's basically all about like you'll have characters that are mentioned or briefly introduced, and then 400 chapters later they show up and they're really important, and it's like, oh wow, like this world feels like it's real because I know who they're talking about, and I'm like, I enjoy that. That's cool. That's something I would appreciate.
That's absolutely true.
I've played like several bit and like one-off characters in One Piece, and I still wonder at what point are they going to come back? Because they almost always do.
I love how Oda feels like a guy who literally can't forget anything. Where Toriyama is a guy who can't remember anything.
Complete polar opposites.
Yeah. I feel like Oda, to me, at least from everything I've heard about him, sounds like this kid who has made this imaginary world that he himself loves to live in. So it's just like he knows it because to him that is his existence. Whereas Toriyama is like a man who wrote a very fun story. Oda, it's like the very big difference.
Oda is building a world, characters be damned. Like, you know, he has some like good moments with his like core characters, and he has like interesting side stories going on with some of these other characters, but it's the world he's more interested in, which, you know, that is where the appreciation of One Piece comes from. That is my level of appreciation for One Piece. I cannot stand watching it, but I understand
I'm sure
why
I'll eventually
it is good.
reach that point, because everyone who likes One Piece is always like, manga over the anime. Don't anime it for yourself. But I'm like, I'm lazy. I don't want to read.
At some point, you may find yourself, I don't know, either going to the manga or doing something else.
After the time skip, I feel like is when the biggest burn will happen.
Yeah.
Time skip. No.
I would have been surprised if you hadn't heard that there is a time skip.
Yeah.
Or
I also really like because I know, you know, I know who Chopper is. I always forget his name, but I know the skeleton who's like their music guy.
Brook.
I really liked that there was a scene earlier on. I think it was like when they were getting Sanji, someone's like you look hurt. Does your ship have a doctor? And like Luffy's like, oh, we need one of those, but first we need a guy who can play music. And I was like, oh, that's great, because I have a feeling those characters aren't showing up for a bit because they're not like in the opening or anything.
It's very funny. People were realizing that they could actually plan out where the story was going to go by things said by Luffy in that regard, because Oda does in fact like to pay off that sort of shit.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty cool, like when you like a lot of fans have been able to actually plan out how stuff happens just by using the information they've been given in a way that's really like fun and interesting and not predictable and lazy. And I really like that. It's kind of like I think it was actually George R.R. Martin who said this, although I might be attributing the quote to the wrong person, where they basically said, if you're able to piece together who the killer is, that doesn't mean you need to change who the killer is, okay? That
if I said the butler did it and you guessed the butler did it 3 chapters ago, good for you. But if I have to change it to be like the handmaid did it, then all of a sudden a bunch of different things don't make sense.
Yeah. If you have to like hurt the story that you're trying to tell to just make it subversive, no, bad, wrong. No, don't do that.
But yeah, hey Chad, what's your favorite arc of One Piece?
Yes, what is your favorite One Piece arc so far? For me, it is slowly becoming Wano.
Okay.
I
I liked Arlong Park so far.
Dude, Arlong Park is like high tier. Like, it's kind of the best arc for a good long while.
Arlong Park was very strong. If it didn't drag so much, Crocodile's arc was one of my favorites.
Alabasta. Yeah,
Alabasta.
Alabasta just really seems, too long. It's too fucking long.
It's too long, but it hits a lot of those peak shonen moments.
A lot of people saying Water 7. You ain't wrong.
Water 7. I was gonna say Water 7 might be it for me though.
People like to separate Water 7 and Enies Lobby, and I feel like that's. I don't feel like you should. I feel like they're just two halves of the same arc. I feel like Enies Lobby.
Well, I mean, because it's all introducing one
Cell
character. Yeah. Basically, yeah, because you introduce all of the characters that are going to matter in Water 7 in Enies Lobby.
Yeah, and then all that stuff.
They all pay off in Water 7.
Yeah, so I think it's really weird to separate them. So, but yeah, no, that currently is still maybe my second favorite arc, like as a whole. But yeah, no,
this has been the One Piece Academia review.
Yeah, you know what?
I just wanted to give us more to talk about. I'm sorry.
I do not blame you. I do not blame you in the slightest.
Yeah, it doesn't help, like, this episode had some major stuff happen, but in terms of finer details to actually explore.
Yeah, exactly. Cool stuff happened, but it was all very, like, I mean, I don't want to say
predictable,
it was surface, but it's just like, it's kind of like, and then events happened, and you know what they are.
Yeah.
Again, we kind of lean back to, like, it was all predictable because they told us what happened, and they gave us hints about what happened before this arc played out.
I didn't know for sure that Shigaraki would be, like, the head thing. I thought there would maybe be an uneasy, like, we're equals, wink wink, but like no, it's just a straight up like this guy's in charge. We were wrong. We should not have picked a fight with this gang, and in fact we should have this gang tell us what to do.
Yep.
Totally. Yeah, my big thing was like, is he going to kill him or is he going to surrender? Like those are the two options in my head by the time we were in this arc.
I thought we had seen Destro. Maybe I was wrong, but I thought we had actually seen him in the
I couldn't remember.
Present.
I don't think that we did.
We might not have. I
think we saw.
I could have just seen him in the
movie
opening and thought that was the case.
I think we saw the movie villain who looked remarkably similar.
Could also be that.
There's a part of me that feels like we saw Destro for like a moment, just like a moment.
Yeah, like I thought there was like a shot of him, but I'm also in my mind seeing the shot of him in the opening. So like that could be what I'm thinking.
Oh,
if he was standing, it couldn't have been in the present. So
I think it was when he was talking to Hawks about the book.
Okay. Yeah. Either way, My Hero Academia, we got one episode left of this season. And while I did really enjoy this episode, it was unfortunate that so much of it was predictable.
Yeah, unfortunately. And the anime really did that. No favors. But hey, thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to take care of yourselves. Be safe. Be swell to each other. And we'll see you next week for the last My Hero Academia review of the season. So everyone, take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.